Clinton Yates, Mr. Bob Ryan. Today, the LeBron ejection.
Is that an air
Look
punch?
at everybody's face when they realize that LeBron's been ejected for the first time in his career. You think the referees are building a statue to Kane Fitzgerald or destroying all proof they ever knew him right now?
Probably the statue.
You think? Okay.
Trebek's gonna know that name
It's
soon.
Around the Horn, the show of competitive banter. Here's Tony Reali.
LeBron says referees are trying to make him a jump shooter, that they don't officiate him correctly, that he's one of the league leaders in points in the paint, and nowhere near that for free throws. So consider that while you review the no call, the reaction, the first ejection of LeBron James' career. NBA official, as of this moment, Kane Fitzgerald to the pool reporter. LeBron turned and threw an air punch directly at him, then aggressively charged at him and used vulgarity in his ear a few times. There was just one technical and the ejection. Bob, a lot to discuss here. First off, is LeBron being reffed fairly, unfairly, and was last night a worse look for him or for the league?
I do think that LeBron has a legitimate beef. He's not the first. Guys, see, he's reached a certain stature that, in contrast to what people think that superstars get all the calls, I think that he doesn't get enough calls. And because he's LeBron James, he's big and strong, he's LeBron James. Now, as far as what happened last night is concerned, I think we need more evidence than we saw to justify an ejection on the basis of one technical. That is a very rare occurrence. I've been watching this league since 1969. I bet you don't have this many times that it happened or someone was ejected without bumping a ref or something. I'm talking about verbal assault, if you want to call it that. One technical getting you assault. No. And by the way, I would take great umbrage with the idea that is not an air punch. That's not an air punch. A punch, no, don't even get me started on that. Not a punch. So I do think that this was an unjustified ejection based on all the evidence that we have.
Umbrage.
Umbrage, and
Yes.
Don't get Bob Ryan started. Well, we'll get Clinton Yates started. Is that how you see it, Clinton?
Not really. There were so many things around this moment, though, that I very much enjoyed. Number one, let's get a little breakdown of Kane Fitzgerald's throw-out move. That was big league quality with the left hand. Get a look at that. I enjoyed that. Number two, I love the fact that LeBron got off the court and immediately got off Instagram. But more importantly, I have no problem with this ejection at all. You went this many games without one. That was an aggressive move towards that referee. If you're going to let them use their discretion, if he felt threatened in some way or another, I got no issue with throwing LeBron out of a game. Just because this never happened before, big deal. Who cares?
Would you say LeBron was too demonstrative here on this one play?
I wouldn't say too demonstrative. I think you have to allow for both. You can be demonstrative, but there will be consequences. And in this case, it was an ejection. I do not take umbrage with it at all.
How about you, Kalishaw?
Yeah, I don't know how Kane Fitzgerald felt threatened. I'm with Bob on the air punch. It was from about 12 feet away. I don't know what kind of wingspan the ref thinks LeBron has. And it really wasn't, it's not a punch. It's more like throwing his fist at the ground. He's mad he didn't get the call, and you can see he did get bumped there. Now, I think you can exaggerate how many calls LeBron deserves. There's stats, he's number 2 in the league in shots within 3 feet. Well, most of those are dunks or drives to the rim that everybody's getting out of the way. They're not fouling him on those. But I'm sure he does get reffed badly sometimes because he's so big and strong.
Bill Plaschke.
I'm all in on the umbrage on this one. LeBron James, for some reason, they've decided to officiate him differently this year. And Bob knows how this is. They watch the films. They look at him. He's a career-low free throw attempts, 20th in the league in free throw attempts. And as Tim said, second in the league in shots from 3 feet out. Tim, you know he's getting bumped and bruised and hit around in there, and they're just choosing to ignore it right now. And I also give LeBron credit. He's gone over 1,000 games without getting ejected. That's the most composed. And I know Michael Jordan was never thrown out of a game, but Michael Jordan was never beat up like LeBron's beat up every night. To go this long, to stay this composed, I give him full props for that.
You know, you bring up Jordan, Bill, and Bob, I'll start with you here. I'll go around the horn on this one. The Jordan rules. We all heard about the Jordan rules and how the game was refereed different for Jordan. That meant he went to the free throw line more, right? Am I correct in saying that? So do you believe Go ahead, Bob, please.
The Jordan rules has to do with the Detroit Pistons defense on him. I don't anything else. I don't even want to hear about. There's no such thing.
I think that means superstars get calls. Does anyone else view that?
Well, it way precedes him. No, the answer is that's the common perception that superstars do get. And by the way, they do get calls as a rule. They do get opportunities to go.
But LeBron's not.
But this time, certain superstars, Shaq had to go through this for sure. That he could tell you chapter and verse about how many million at time he was fouled but because he was Shaq, he didn't get the call. LeBron is a big, strong guy that is abnormal, and he definitely does not get the respect.
Clinton, can you add on the idea of stars getting calls and LeBron being the biggest star in the game, but he thinks he's not getting calls?
Yeah, I can add on it by saying all I hear from people who claim to not like the NBA is that the guys are punks and too many fouls get called all the time and the game is too slow. So which one is it going to be? Are you going to have it where the biggest star doesn't get enough calls, or are you going to have it where the game can continue to move in a way that most people would probably rather watch it? I prefer the latter. I didn't have an issue with this. Sure, it's not a great look for LeBron or the league, but hey, you went nuts, man. Come on, you're going to get thrown out of a game every once in a while.
I don't think it's really conspiratorial. I think when the refs saw centers playing Shaq, who were 70 pounds lighter, they thought, that's not much of a foul to him. And LeBron is so much bigger than all the perimeter players, they tend to view that the same way. It's not fair, but I think that's how they look at it.
Bill Plaschke.
I will say this, 2 nights ago, we all laughed when LeBron took 12 steps to the basket and was not called for travel.
Okay.
So
well, I mean,
he does,
that's
get a lot of calls.
He does get a lot of calls then for the travel, although everybody in the NBA gets those travels. Kyrie Irving had the same travel the same night. Last thing, Enes Kanter, did you see his post? This is going back. Yeah, I have thumbs up or thumbs down on Enes Kanter calling out LeBron a little bit here after he claimed New York City when they beat the Knicks, and now he's giving Kane Fitzgerald the crown for Cleveland. We'll move on. It's been 24 hours. The Eli Manning benching. It's still causing shockwaves in the NFL, so let's get right into it. Back pages in New York went with the death of a head of state route. Our head of state from the New York Bureau, Francis Isola, went the other way, which is totally on brand, by the way. Sorry, I don't think it's a crime against humanity for Eli to sit. The season is over. He has struggled. The best way to tank is to play Geno. Clinton, we'll start with you. Where do you come down in the way the Giants are handling all this and the way everybody is reacting to all this?
I'm with Frank on this from a football standpoint. You've got to find a way to sit him. That team is too bad to rely on him for what it's worth. And I also think that the Giants fan base's issues are more largely with the ownership and how they've handled the coaching and the GM position than they really are with Eli. Look, McAdoo, as you've known, I've said, has been a huge problem, and this hasn't helped his cause in terms of whether or not he keeps that job. But I certainly don't think that you can blame him for benching a guy who's led the team to what he's led to. If the streak weren't a thing, this would not be an issue whatsoever. Alas, it is, and therefore there's an emotional connection to him that probably shouldn't be there in the NFL.
You're speaking of the consecutive start streak, which he just passed his brother for second all-time, but he's light years away from Favre for all-time. Tim Calishaw, your view of it.
You know, at the risk of giving Frank Isola future points, I think he's exactly right. And the last part about it, the tanking, is really what makes the most sense. The NFL is the only sport where you can do it. And if you play badly enough and your record's bad, that's the pick you get. There are no ping pong balls bouncing around that say, oh, well, you're not really going to get the first pick or the second pick or the third because of the system we have. You're allowed to do it in the NFL. And I think the Giants, as badly as they've handled this, and it seems silly how they went about it, they don't want to win games right now. There's no point in it. And frankly, Geno Smith isn't likely to win a lot of games. So they'll probably play him for a couple weeks, and then they'll give Davis Webb a try.
So your overall view of it is that the Giants handled it poorly, but they made the right decision, even though they handled it poorly.
No problems ultimately with what they're getting after.
Bill Plaschke?
No problems. The Giants made the right decision. Again, Eli's 24th in passer rating. The team is 31st in scoring. They're 2-9. The season's over with. This whole uproar, Tony, is all because, and I've told this to Frank Isola's face, the New York media is the biggest homers in the world when it comes to someone they like. When it comes to being loyal, and I'm not talking behind your back, Frankie. I've said this to your face. I've said it to everybody says, oh, New York Riders are so tough. They're tough if they don't like you. If they like you, they'll do it out of their way, and this is completely overblown. Oh, my God, poor Eli. Poor Eli. We'll shed it here for Eli. He's making a lot of money. He's not playing very well. Put him on the bench. Any other town, it would be accepted.
Thumbs up or thumbs down on Bill Plaschke calling New York writers and radio people homers. Thumbs up or thumbs down. All right. Bob Ryan, I know you read the tabloids every day. And like I said, it was like he was a head of state. You heard Mike Francesa. You've heard Michael Kay. You've heard everybody. It's also players in the league as well. Stunned that Eli is getting benched here after the 2 Super Bowl MVPs. What's your view of it all?
Well, there's another number that comes into play here, and that is 29. They lead the league in drops. Look, Eli's not having a good year, but he does no support. They're 26th in rushing. They have no rushing game. He has nobody to throw to. But he's not rise to the occasion either, and he can't help himself with his legs the way some other guys can. But let's hold off on the pity party for him, okay? Here's one of the problems. This thing right here is what's got the fans upset as much as anything else. They don't want to see him. And not even thinking about it. They want to see the kid. If you're going to do this, play the kid, play Webb. Don't be playing Geno Smith. I think that's part of the problem for the fan issue. Although the teammates rallying around him, fine. That's all well and good. But let's remember, the Giants have the Giant media has overrated Eli Manning through his entire career. He won the 2 Super Bowls.
Very convenient for you to say.
One of them on a miracle catch by a guy who never made another catch. One on a great throw with a great catch. I'll give him that.
You know what? There's Super Bowl wins. Can we go through Tom Brady's Super Bowl wins?
Yeah,
Was he winning those games by 30
no
points?
other playoff games. Not serious. He has won no other playoff games his entire career. He is overrated. Don't give me Hall of Fame nonsense and hold off on the pity party, okay?
You believe his future with the Giants it's over, right? If he plays another
Giants,
game,
but not his NFL future. He should definitely get it. Somebody should kick those tires next year, no question.
Are you buying into this whole Broncos thing that Woody Page started a few weeks ago? Does that mean anything to you? Elway only now signing Mannings to play quarterback?
Well, no, but I think Jacksonville, we all agree, I think would agree is the best, most logical place.
Last word.
One word, Bob, Deflategate. Who over-idealizes quarterbacks, Bob? Deflategate.
Whoa.
What?
Wow. Wow.
Typical.
I'm here for this. I'm here. Well, Bob, I mean, you did go after Eli winning Super Bowls by narrow margins. And
Not one,
my only
right?
point there is Brady's won more Super Bowls than anybody, but his margins haven't been, 3 touchdowns, 4 touchdowns. Yeah.
He could be 7-0. He could be 0-7. I will concede that. There's no question. But Eli is a lucky guy.
We all are lucky guys. We're moving on. College football playoff. It's almost like everybody can still feel like they're in it and still feel like they're about to get worked over. Tim Kalishaw, we'll start with you. What are we in position to see with this, the second to last ranking, and what's going to happen this weekend?
I think what's going to happen is Alabama fans are going to be very upset because I don't think, they see their team sitting there at 5 thinking, well, that's pretty good. One of those teams loses, we're in. What if number 8, Ohio State, beats Wisconsin, who's ahead of them? And then Ohio State's resume, and you compare it, even with 2 losses, there's arguments to be made that that's as good or better than what Alabama has done with the big wins they would have. So that Alabama at 5, I think, is kind of misleading. I don't think they're in good position to get in.
Linton, what does this set us up for?
It bothers me so much that it even has a chance to set Alabama up for anything. We've already seen Saban groveling at the pulpit, if you will. I don't like this. This is a perfect case scenario for why this should expand to 8 teams overall. You get your conference champions, you get a couple of people in there, you even allow maybe, a UCF to get a chance, God forbid. I don't like the fact that Alabama even has a chance in this circumstance, and it makes me mad, and I'm not even a big college football fan.
Well, thank you for telling us you're not a big fan, then. We'll give you a new. Go ahead, Bob Ryan.
Well, number one, Alabama can profit by not playing, which is very interesting. They're the one team that can do so because they're not playing in the championship game. Certain things happen, they could luck out. I find this interesting that Clemson's getting all this respect with the worst loss by far of any of the teams. And let's play that. I'd love to do it. I'm going to do it. Play that old game of so-and-so beat so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so. They lost to Syracuse, a team that did not win one other game, lost its last 3 games by 52 points a game. And I want to go by that chain of reaction. We'll probably find out that Groundhog State would beat would have beaten Clemson.
So wait a second. You have a problem with the number 1 ranking here, though. I mean, Clemson, Miami, one of them is going to win, all right?
If I'm on that committee,
the other games.
no way.
What I'm focusing in on here is Ohio State, like Kalishaw brought up, versus Alabama, because they can knock off a team that's ahead of Alabama. Bill Plaschke, the 2-loss Ohio State team or the 1-loss Alabama?
There's no question Ohio State ahead of Alabama if they win that game. Not even a question. It's not even close. Ohio State beats an unbeaten team, much harder strength of schedule. Alabama, you're done. You're done no matter what happens Saturday. You are done.
All right. We're going to hold you to that. Taking a break right here. Buy or sell in 2 minutes.